Hi.
Hi. Amy.
Hi. Thank you so much for doing this.
Pleasure.
I admire you massively, so thank you so much for coming to do this. You've always been one of the people in the industry that has championed incredible people. It feels honest and authentic. Whenever I'm in a room of people that you've curated, I feel uplifted, truthful and inspired to keep going. So this is all part of our kinfolk element of our brand, so I couldn't be more honoured that you're here.
Back at you, Amy, back at you.
Could you tell me a little bit about Country and Townhouse? And I know you're such a pioneer in sustainability within it. I mean, it's not specifically that, but like it's always a narrative within there. I think you were one of the first B Corp certified publications.
Definitely on the sort of glossy end. The Guardian is, the big issue is, but in the world, we're the first sort of luxury magazine.
I love how you say that with a northern accent.
I
think being northern is luxury, being a northerner.
Of course it is. I think I'm embarrassed about saying the word luxury.
Yeah,
is what
I know
I'm coming
what you mean.
to think about. Anyway.
What is that for another time? Tell me a little bit about all the kind of bits and pieces you're doing around it in the magazine and
So I think that this started very much I don't know, about 6 years ago and sort of like you in an industry that doesn't always look to sustainability, but feeling myself that things were going really badly wrong. Every conversation I had was, my friends might be making plans to go on holiday next year. I was like, holiday? How can you do something next year? The world's collapsing. And I was really in a desperate sort of mental state. And I think through addressing that and saying, right, I can't leave my job. I started this business with my husband 18 years ago. It's that thing of what can you do within the industry that can change things. So that's when we started to look at our content. Obviously, as a magazine, you're ultimately storytellers, which gives you a great outlet for your work. Obviously, any creative industry, through what you do, you are telling stories, but we have the spoken word, we have the visual word. So that was when it all started. And when I started, I said, right, we're going to put 30% of content and we're going to talk specifically about sustainability. And now that sort of ship has sailed and we know sort of sustainability came as a trend. And then this year it feels, that trend's over, move on, black is back. And that's A, highly depressing, B, probably inevitable because we go in cycles as humans. But we have very much sort of then embedded that sustainability, again, it's a problematic word, sustainability,
but I sort of
into everything we do.
And actually I think, we talk about this a lot, about the word sustainability, but I think what's hard is people have devalued it by greenwashing, so then it becomes a confusing word, but actually ultimately it is still the right word, because for people that are doing it right, and in a way if you start, we talked about doing it, coming up with maybe another word for it, but then almost some of the readership or some of our customers that maybe have just like come on board to understand that, if you just shift the narrative again, it's like, I sort of feel like it's kind of unfair to the people that are working really hard in it. I feel like the tarnish has actually come from greenwashing, and so it upsets me slightly that we as truth tellers feel like we have to pivot where they get to like own that word.
That is such a, I hadn't even thought about that. I
think
you're holding on to the OG meaning of sustainability, and other people might be sort of skimming off it, trying to sort of latch on to the next buzzword. I totally respect that.
I feel like we should get to keep it.
No, you're right.
We're trying really hard.
Absolutely.
But I mean, for me, that is what sustainability is about. It's just keeping something constantly embedded. It's just, it should never be like a percentage or a moment or a trend. It should just be so intrinsic and like rooted in what we do. It's amazing.
It's the starting place, isn't it?
Of course,
not a side order.
No, exactly. But for us, we're working in an industry that doesn't speak out very often, and it has come in trends, in waves, which I think is to do with human nature, but I also think it's to do with the political landscape. And a certain president in the US has just given license to be a climate denier, or just kind of ignore that for a while. So we're living through tough times in that. And actually sometimes with fashion I always get a bit annoyed that like it's sort of seen as kind of a girly thing and a bit of a just a bit of a glitzy, not taken very serious, and yet like football for instance gets like total serious comms. There's a whole program dedicated to just talking about the match itself.
And yet we're all wearing clothes every single day.
Exactly. And actually we're so dictated to by the economy and what is going on in politics. Like, we are like an industry and a business, and what happens out there affects what goes on in here. So,
which makes it all the harder at this current moment.
Yep.
Yep. I hear you.
So obviously I know you're a truth teller. I know your storytelling is authentic. I feel it and I see it. And you have created an awards off the back of it. Like, tell me a bit about that, because I know when I'm in the room with those people, I feel so lifted and joyous. Yeah. So tell me a bit about why you do it and how it came about.
So we started it sort of, it's 100% some awards, but again, we want it to become a movement rather than just a moment. So we started it as Journey to Zero, and that narrative, I think people found that harder. This zero concept, no one really understands what zero means. Zero is nothing. So what does that lift? So we had a think, and we thought, right, we need something positive, forward-looking, and that encompasses something beyond just sustainability. And when I mean that, I mean that people are doing incredible things for people and planet that go beyond the carbon story or the sustainability story. They are curating amazing communities. They are, food. They're growing their food in a particular way that is wonderfully regenerative. So it's a broader term. It's called Future Icons. It's my favourite day of the year, and it's coming up literally next week. There is something weirdly powerful about being in that room with those people. I remember it made me so happy last year. We had a keynote speaker who was Lord Deben, Conservative peer. And he was in the room with lots of sort of activists. Yeah, absolutely. But that is the joy, right? When you come into a room and you can have diversity of where you come from, thought, and I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in the house when he spoke. He spoke so beautifully, and he comes from a really authentic place. It might not be the same place of me or you or some of our younger members, but to have a sort of Margaret Thatcher, era Tory MP in a room with these young, bright, feisty girls, and the room was held. I thought there's something really wonderful in that, and he noticed that too, because he's not going to be exposed to much of that. He's usually in a big sort of corporate structure, talking to oil men, and I think that's the magic of what we do. Is as a magazine, you're able to use that because you have this platform to bring in lots of people from lots of different places.
It's so true. I was in the room, the one you're talking about, and felt exactly that. And I was actually having a conversation with someone about this the other day. It was Grace A. Forrest who works in. You were at the dinner as well, and we were there, and she was talking about how she was going to Iceland to specifically in a kind of female women's rights thing, and they brought men into the conversation this year, and kind of just she's sort of like initially was thinking, but this is about female empowerment, and then we were with Scott Windsor, and he was actually going too, and he was one of the male speakers who's obviously like divine soul, and we were just saying, actually, like, sometimes these conversations, because they're so raw, we segregate them. We're saying, no, we need to hold some space as women because of the patriarchy and everything, so then we're going to own this thing. But actually, if you just don't bring the men into the conversation too, then how are you actually going to create systemic change?
You're doing the same model, just over here.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's I think that whole kind of inclusion.
We can be better than that.
Yeah, totally.
I think working in these silos of exclusion, you're not good enough, you're not part of my thing, is just part of the same problem. Yeah, and we actually realised that after check. And that's what's amazing about community, because we all kind of initially have feelings and thoughts, but actually when you converse with people that have the same, what it always comes back to is empathy and authenticity and good intention. Yeah. If you can sit in a room with people that have those three attributes, it doesn't matter what narrative you're talking about, what, even polarized ideas that you've got, if you can start with that as the foundation, you create magic from that, and you'll create community, and we'll open our minds to different things. Correct.
And actually that is why I think in all my darkest hours of, the way of the world and working in the climate space and having 2 children in a frightening time, and, sometimes it's hard, and as a business owner and a juggling mum and all these things, the only time that I feel like so energized to keep going is when I put myself in those rooms with those people. Like, you know, the dinner the other night when we come to the awards, surrounding ourselves with like-minded people. It's magic.
Really special, and it's utterly human.
Yeah.
And that at the end of the day is all that will save us.
Yeah.
The frogs aren't going to save us, the dogs aren't going to save us. You know, we have to make some decisions that will look at what we've got.
Yeah.
And that is only through empathy, as you say.
Yeah.
It's like restorative justice, isn't it? When you can look at someone who did something wrong to you in the face and talk about it, then you feel relieved, and you know, you can move forward. I think we can't get hung up in the past and sort of blameful and victim hood. So yeah.
Onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards,
Keep
always. And
yeah.
just, you know, we can only do what we can do.
Yeah.
There is no more that we can do.
Yeah.
But having those bits of spotlight and oxygen and glitter and fun, you know, we need to have fun. We need to have playfulness.
Yeah.
That is what it is to be human too. And without that, you know, that road is very dark.
Yeah.
So enjoy it along the way, however dark that road may feel.
I think you said that about the awards too, that it's a platform to obviously showcase these people, but in the work that they're doing, and it's across so many sectors, right? I'm a judge, you know, and a nominee, but you know, I get to see it from both sides, which is amazing. But actually, having been a judge, just getting into the nitty gritty of other organisations, because it's quite extensive, like what, you know, we need to do. Like, you vet it very, very well. And actually, like, I had to really like go fully into those companies. It was fascinating for me. I learned things that I hadn't learned before, but also, just that actually it's really inspiring to like see how much hard work everybody's putting in.
That should give you a lot of hope and a lot of joy. They're not always great at talking about it, and websites, you know, so there is a lot of communication that needs to happen. But boy, there's some great stuff going on out there.
Yeah.
So not feeling alone in what you're doing or what I'm doing. There's millions of us out there, which is really, really good.
We just have to come together and create the new community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.